Hello everybody, it's Anne from Anne's Stampin' Up. Time for another card today. It's a really snowy day in Simcoe, Ontario here. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and if you live in Canada and you don't have your own demonstrator, you can shop with me. You can reach me at stampsandtea@gmail.com, or my demonstrator website is stampsandtea.stampinup.net. So let's get started. This is the suite we're going to use today. It's called the Lights Aglow suite. It's in the July to December mini catalogue, fast coming to an end. If you want to buy this stamp set or dies or paper or anything, I suggest you try right now. I'm not sure if it will carry over into the new catalogue, next year's catalogue, or not. But what we have, this suite is just great. It has dies, it has stamps, it has beautiful DSP, it has some lovely, what would I call that, like a it's not a vellum, but it's like it's a specialty paper. It's got a different texture to it. And this is your glitter paper. You've got stamps, dies, you've got some embellishments, some coloured pearls there, and some ribbon. You got everything. I've used this suite a lot. You've probably seen a good few cards I've made with it, and you know, when you make a lot of cards, what you end up with is a bag of scraps. Okay, and you know, you never throw the scraps away, because, well, you know, you're always going to use the scraps, but whether you do or not is another matter. You might find them 3 years, you know, 3 years down the road, and you think, well, that's nice paper, and you try to use it then. But we are going to try and use some today. So we've got, we're going to use, as I say, this whole suite, little bits from the suite. So we'll put that away. And by the way, it's on page 30 in the June to December catalogue. So we're going to use a stamp from the Brightest Glow set, and we're going to use this Christmas tree outline from the Twinkling Lights dies. And it's an outline because it also has the piece that cuts the inside. It cuts stars and things on the inside of the Christmas tree. We're making this card on the fly today. We've got a bunch of scraps. You know, if you don't like that side, turn it over, see what you get on the other side. But we got a bunch of strips here that I'm just going to snip with a pair of scissors when they're too long. I have a piece of smoky slate, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, standard card base. I've got a white mat for the front, which is 5 1/4 by 4, and I've got a white piece for the inside, which is 5 1/4 by 4. All your standard pieces. We're also going to use an embossing folder, and it's called Softly Falling Snow. Now, it's an old folder, this. It isn't a 3D folder, it's one of the very thin ones. It's an old folder, but boy, it's a lovely folder, and it makes really a nice snowfall on your card. And we're going to emboss the front of the card with that. What else? We're going to see, got a selection of scraps there. What we're going to do is we're going to stamp the front of the card first, cut out the tree, then emboss, because we don't want to lose anything in the embossing. Like if we emboss first, it puts the bumps in the cardstock for the snowflakes. If we did that first and then we run this through with the embossing die to cut out the Christmas tree, it would flatten the bumps. So you just have to watch the order you do everything in, and hopefully I can do it all in the right order. So let me think, what did I say? Stamp first. Okay, now if we're going to stamp the piece for the front of the card, we might as well stamp for the inside. If we're going to use a stamp from the set from the inside, we might as well do it all at the same time. Okay, so let's see, we use, what does that say? Hope your Christmas shines bright, may the peace of the season. Let's use this one. There. We'll just pop that on a block and we'll be ready to go. Just need to make sure it's kind of straight. There we are. All right, so we're gonna have to look at the tree and see where the tree sits. Now the tree's going to sit fairly high. Now we're ready to start. My papers. So I'm going to leave my tree there, my tree outline, so that I've got an idea of where I'm going to stamp. And I'm stamping in real red. And I'm going to try and put this right in the center here. Nice. And then I'm going to take the other piece, which is for the inside of the card, and I'm going to stamp, and it says, "May the peace of the season light your world, and may your new year be the brightest." That's a nice saying. Get some nice real red ink going there, and I think we'll stamp it right in the middle. Nice. So that's it for stamping. Just clean the red off there, close the red up, pop those pieces out of the way. Alright, so this is for the inside, so we're just going to put this over here for a second. This piece here, we're now going to cut out the Christmas tree, and then we'll run it through the embossing folder last. So let's bring in the big shot. Turn it that way and you might be able to see what I'm doing. Plates. Here they are. Now because this is a thin die, we see on the base plate here, I'm calling this a base plate. We see on the big thick plate, because this is a thin die, we need plates 1, 2, 2 and 1, 2, 3 and 3. So they go like that. This goes on here, nicely placed. Try and get him about the center, just standing up there to see where I am. If you wanted to, you could put a tiny little pencil mark right in the center of the top of your card, and that would line your tree up perfectly. You'd line up the center of the tree with that. I'm just eyeballing it. My next plate goes on the top. Get them started and through it goes. That piece we might use for something else. That'll be another piece that goes in the scrap bag, you know. Put the die out of the way. Now we're going to take the embossing folder, softly falling snow. We're going to put this piece right into here. Now it has what I'm calling heavier snow at the top. It's got more dots there, so I want that to be where the top of my card goes. Okay, I'm just going to pop it in there, close it up, look at my plates again, and my plates say for a regular embossing folder or a standard embossing folder, I need plate 1 and then 2 of the number 3. So I'm taking the shim out. This number 2 plate, I believe, is called a shim. So I'm taking that out. That's going on there. And always put your embossing folder with the folder to go through first, so that your rollers can roll onto your embossing folder and roll over it. Up, give it a push. Keep going. Go. Excuse my arm. Pop that over there. So there you see we've got some, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but we've got some lovely heavy snow at the top and some lighter snow at the bottom. So then all that can go to one side. What we're going to do is bring in the card, have a look here. Now this is going to go, you'll have about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And all we're going to do to make this card is take these strips and put them in here like this. Now of course I don't want them sticking out at the sides, so that's where I'm just going to sort of measure them up and trim them and just try and mix up my colours. You know, I know I've got a wide, like I'm wider at the bottom, so maybe we'll start with the green at the bottom because that's the longest strip. We're just going to cut it off and see if it'll fit, and it will. Now we don't have to put them straight. We can put them on a slant if we want. I think a slant would look nice, but we've just got to watch where we are with the edges of the pieces. All right, so we don't want to go anywhere more than about a 1/4 inch out, closer, like a 1/4 inch from the edge. We want more than a 1/4 inch there. I'm just going to trim a snip off that, and I'm going to sort of lie it down under my template, my card mat, my front, so that I can see where it's going to go. All right, take this off. I'm going to grab some liquid glue here, turn this piece over, hope that liquid glue doesn't run out. Turn this over and pop it about there. Now I'm going to put my template down quickly so that I can see that I've got the whole, like the whole of the bottom of the tree is covered, do you see? So I think it will. So we can go from there, we can just go straight up the card from there, just picking random pieces of paper, making sure they're no wider than this piece. And just mixing and matching. There's no pattern to it, but just putting them up against each other so that you don't see any of the grey cardstock beneath. You see, and it just goes up the card like that. Let's find, how about that piece? That looks pretty wide. Let's snip it down a bit. Cut it off. And the thing is, if you cut a piece and it's too short for your spot, just peel it off quickly. But that was okay, that worked. How about, it's a nice green. Oh, that's a nicer green. And we're just plopping little bits of glue on here, putting these strips down. Now you could be really particular if you wanted to, and you could trim, you know, you could have lined all of these pieces up on another piece of paper and then cut the Christmas tree out so that the shape was exact, but I don't think you need to. I really don't. So what we got, here's a couple of stars. And as you can see, my strips are not all the same width, which is nice. Makes for a nice pattern. It's a nice little bit. I'll trim that. Let's see what we've got. Need a couple of more pieces. How about another red? Trim it down a bit. Well, that's a nice red too. See what I mean about if you don't like one side of the paper, turn it over. This suite is absolutely beautiful. Now, this is where we have to be careful because we don't want the card, these strips showing, you know, poking out at the top there either. So we need a little bit of something. I think, you know what? Oh, that's red again. What's on the other side? There's a little piece. Stars and stars together. What's on the back of this? Oh, that looks nice. we're just going to trim that, cut that down so that it, how do I want to put it? This way, so that it doesn't stick out, poke out over the top of the card. Let's just have a little look. Yeah, it's going to. So I'm just going to cut the corner off like that. Let's have a look, see what we've got. I might have cut too much there. No, that is just perfect. See, so we've got the whole of the Christmas tree covered. So let me just take this, turn it down and give it a good press to make sure it's all held down nicely. Let me find some dimensionals here. I'll pop the dimensionals around the outside. Now if you don't have dimensionals but you've got some foam tape, you can use that as well. Looks like them all. No. There's always one you miss, isn't there? Right, so now we're going to take this and just line this right up in the middle of the card, about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, being careful to make sure, just peel that off, being careful to make sure we've just got about 1/8 of an inch all the way around, but that we've got the whole of the Christmas tree cut out, covered. There it is. Throw those over there. Get rid of the mess here. And I think all this little card needs, this lovely card needs, is a nice verse on the inside. Make sure we're going the right way. Just like that. And we'll bring in the bow maker and we'll make a tiny little bow. I thought I had some ribbon here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Pull a little bit out. Good pull to make sure it's tight. Cut it off, make sure it nicely angled the ribbon tails. Going to stick that right at the top, and there it is. Cute little Christmas card. This again was one of my own designs. Please feel free to copy and share it if you wish. As always, if you sell your cards, please put the Stampin' Up! Angel stamp on, just to say that all the supplies used are Stampin' Up! Supplies. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.